Welcome everyone to A Talk in the Park, and today we are having a quite rainy weather, but it's alright, and we are having the privilege of talking with Harry. Hello Harry.
Hello, I'm not sure about privilege.
So Harry, you are 24 and you are currently a history teacher in a secondary school, is that correct?
That is right, yes.
Okay, so my first question is, why did you become a history teacher? Was it always something you wanted to do or not, and why history?
It wasn't something that I always wanted to do, no. I've always... I've never had a strong sense of what I wanted to do. I've been interested in lots of things, but felt sort of dazzled by the choice. And after university, I messed around for a year doing a master's to sort of put off having to make a choice, and then I did a journalism course for a year, doing mainly cricket journalism, which I enjoyed, but it didn't feel like quite the right thing. And I also had at the back of my mind at the end of university the idea of teaching, and having done a year of journalism I thought I'd still like to have a go at teaching. So that was how I came to teaching. I think I like the idea of being able to perform. There's a bit of performance in teaching, and I like the idea of seeing the impact that you have on people, of being able to help people and seeing them develop and grow and get excited by the things that you're excited about.
Speaking about performing, do you do other activity in your life in which you perform? I think you're doing a bit of singing, is it true?
Yeah, I've just in the past couple of weeks started singing at St. Paul's in the centre of town, the church with the handsome spire, and actually we've got a carol service this afternoon, so we were practising for that last night.
Interesting. Will you be doing something for Christmas as well, or?
Yes, I'm going home just after the service actually, so I won't be singing with them for Christmas, but they've recorded a midnight mass. I think they're not allowed to have it for some reason, but they are allowed to have a carol service. But yeah, we've been singing Christmassy music, and that's lovely. I do like singing, I do like performing. I've done lots of theatrical things all through school and through university. Never terribly seriously, but for fun. Yeah.
So would you say you are a shy person, or does drama, like the fact that you've always been performing, has kind of helped you not to be a shy person? How would you describe yourself on that?
I think yeah, it's a slightly strange one in that I wouldn't describe myself as shy. I think I am an introvert, but I also love being on stage and performing and having attention in that capacity. I don't know how to explain it properly.
Yeah, I think there's a huge difference between being introvert and being shy. Like, it's two different things. Like, introvert is a choice, and shy is like some people are shy but they would like to not be shy.
Have more confidence. Yeah.
Do you have any siblings?
I do. I have a younger brother who I'm going to be seeing for the first time in a good month and a half this evening. I'm looking forward to that. He's 21.
Okay. So if you had to compare yourself to your brother, would you say you have the same characteristics, or is he more extrovert? Is he more shy? How would you compare yourself?
I think he's probably more shy, I would say.
Yeah.
Watch out for the bike. He's definitely more focused than me, and cleverer.
Okay.
He's also, at the moment, he's grown out his hair. That's not a personality trait, but that feels like an event and a distinction between us at the moment, because he's got these amazing long flowing locks. It's kind of wavy. Yeah,
interesting.
Really suits him.
So do you think the differences between you two are due to like your rank in the family? Like, you're the older, so maybe you were more pushed to go out of your shell, whereas maybe the younger has less this pressure? Like, how do you explain the differences?
I think that you might be onto something there, in that definitely for family gatherings and those kinds of things, I think I would tend to be the spokesperson for the siblings. You know, if people ask the question, if they'd address you sometimes as brothers, I would tend to be the one who answered.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
maybe that sort of was part of it. And I think maybe he's also partly more focused for being the younger sibling, for having someone ahead of him as a bit of like a target, like a thing to work towards.
Strive towards.
Yeah.
Are you the role model?
No, I wouldn't say I'm a role model. No.
Okay. So something a bit different. If you look back to your whole life, your whole past life, when were you the most happy? Like which period of your life was the most?
My instant answer is year 6, which is 10 to 11, the final year of primary school.
Okay.
That was a great year.
Because you're the oldest in school?
Oldest in the school, king of the world. We had a brilliant trip to the Isle of Wight, which isn't very glamorous really, but we got on a ferry. You feel like you're almost going to another country. You know everyone in your year really well. I think I got on with people in my year well. We had a great end of year school show, The Ugly Duckling the musical. It's called Honk.
The duckling?
The Ugly Duckling is you know, where one of this group of ducklings is just particularly ugly. And
so what role were you
turns into a
playing?
swan.
Which role were you playing in that?
I was Grey Lag. I wasn't the ugly duckling, no. I think I would have liked to have been. I was more of a cameo role. I was Grey Lag, the military goose, who goes off to try and find the ugly duckling's parents. The ugly duckling gets lost, and spoilers, I got shot down very early into my flight, but I did get a song beforehand.
Okay.
Called "We're Off on a Wild Goose Chase."
Oh, that's really cute. And if you think back to the time you were studying compared to now when you're working, would you say you were more happy as a university student or as a worker?
Ooh. That's a tricky one because I had 4 years at university. I think my enjoyment of it varied a lot.
Yeah, depending on the...
I definitely like the structure of working, like either being at work or at home and being able to properly relax at home. Whereas at university, work seemed to expand to fill all the spaces. So
Exactly.
I prefer that. Yeah, that's tricky.
Have you found it hard socially to, like, have you noticed that your social circle has like quite decreased as you became a worker, because in uni you're surrounded by a lot of people? Was it hard at first to make new connection and with maybe people who were in your age? And
Yeah, it's definitely more difficult than at university when you're just surrounded by loads of other people who are all looking for friends. I've been lucky in Bedford. I mean, living in Harper House, the house that I'm in, that you're round the corner from, has been great because it's got loads of teachers in it, and a lot of us are a similar sort of age, so there's instant connections there and people to meet. And actually there are a few teachers at school, at the school that I'm at, Bedford Free School, who are of a sort of similar sort of age, and they've been really sort of friendly and welcoming. So that it was something I was worried about, but actually it's proved to be a really good place to make friends and meet people.
that's good. Okay, so there is cyclist passing us. There we go. What is for you the most important downside to teaching? Like, what is the thing you hate the most about your job?
Thing I hate most.
the most. Or dislike? You don't have to
So
hate
many
it,
so many
especially.
choices. There are. I really dislike pupils talking back and just treating you like you're, I don't know, treating me like you're an unpleasant person. I like to think of myself as nice. And I've realised that is much more important to me than I'd like to have thought, because pupils, just because you're the teacher, because you're the person in charge, I think, a lot of them will just push it and have a bit of a go and see where the boundaries are. I think that's probably normal, but I really don't like it. I really don't like those confrontations. I think, and also then all of the sort of admin-y email things. That's annoying. All of the things that seem to get in the way of teaching.
Okay, so a bit of a deep question now. Are you scared of regrets?
Scared of regrets. Not much. Increasingly so, I think.
Why increasingly?
Well, that will sound a bit pretentious, but I'm more aware of mortality, I think, than I was, and the idea that you don't. I'm still not very much, but the idea that you don't get second chances at a lot of things. But no, I wouldn't say that regrets are something that the idea that I might regret something is something that keeps me up at night or plagues me much of the time. Is it for you?
No, not that much, I have to say. Like, I'm always very conscious that when I make a choice, I always make it based on what I know at the time. So, and we talked about it last time that I'm not a true believer of free will anyway.
Yes.
So do you think your life is well balanced? What would you say you like the most in your life at the moment? Also, like in a health kind of way, but also in a mental state of way, in a general manner, like in general.
Well, it's more from a physical health perspective. It's more balanced than it was, thanks to Tim's high intensity interval training workouts, which he's got several of us doing over this second lockdown out in the garden. That's been great fun. It's balanced. I think so. I think it's reasonably balanced. I think a lot of teachers find it difficult to get on top of the tide of marking, and I certainly feel a bit battered after this first term. But overall, it's been surprisingly. I've been pleased with how much time off I've had, and being able to do things like go out for walks and do some reading and things like that.
Do you? Oh, sorry.
I was going to say none of this is terribly interesting. But what was the other bit of your question? You said, what are you happiest with in about life at the moment?
What are you happiest with in your life at the moment?
Yeah. Having brought that up, I now don't know what the answer is. I suppose I think being in a place that I really like. Harper House is a good place in the middle of a pleasant town with
a nice park.
A nice park and lots of nice people. That's and being within walking distance of school as well, and it's a good school with good staff. All of this sounds kind of a bit mundane, but it's just
it's a little thing, really.
Yeah.
Would you say that generally speaking you're working more now or more when you were in university?
Definitely spent more hours sort of working. I'm doing inverted commas for this. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they can't see that.
Kind of working. But I think I probably do more work now, which I much prefer having that. This is working time. I work really hard now. There's definitely nothing at university which is like standing in front of 27 teenagers and trying to keep them doing what you want to be doing, or even learn something. That's more challenging than anything at university.
If someone told you they can allow you to see the best day you'll ever live in your future life, would you accept to see it, or would you rather have the surprise?
I'd rather have the surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then it could be a bit sad, couldn't it?
Yeah, because once you've lived it,
Yeah.
then you know, oh, that's when I picked. Like, if
Yeah.
it's like at 30, then you know, oh, that was the best day ever.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And then what? Well, not what's the point, but yeah. I wonder how they'd measure how would they decide the happiest day? Whoever is deciding this.
Let's say it's based on the most positive feelings going through your brain and heart at this moment, like your
balance of
hormones. Yeah, exactly, like positive hormones flowing through your brains. Oh, that might lead to something. Okay. And what about if it was the worst day?
Ooh. I'd be more interested in knowing the worst day.
Yeah, because if you see it and it's quite early on, you know, like, oh, that was the worst.
Yeah, can get it out of the way, and often I think it's the feeling that it's the feeling that it's going to be endless. That this moment you're in is just, or this sort of misery is just stretching out forever. That's so hard. So I think if you knew that would be the worst moment, it would make it easier to get through.
That's true.
But no, generally I don't like the idea of knowing what's coming. It's sort of, I think that would spoil things a bit. Can you still see your...
Yeah, more or less. The rain is making it drip. But especially that we're walking without an umbrella, because the umbrella was making creaky noise. So we
sort
just...
of squeaky...
Yeah,
it's a bit of a rusty brolly.
So what are your plans for the near, or maybe not so near future? Like, do you plan on staying in Bedford, or what would be your projects, or maybe like small things for like this week or this month? What are the things you plan on doing recently?
Well, I was asked about this in school recently. We have these sort of I don't know what they call them, something pompous like reviews, term reviews, where they ask you how you think you're doing and what your ambitions are.
And what is it for? For you to like self-developed, or like?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe that was what they called it, a personal development meeting or something. Anyway, that was a roundabout way of me getting towards saying that I don't really have a long-term plan beyond getting through this year and still feeling relatively happy and sane.
Which is good.
But I think I would like to stay in Bedford next year, at least, because it's not that often that you find a good place with lots of people that you like. And as for this month, well, going back to spend Christmas with the family, not to rub it in.
When we ask this question to people, usually they have like a lot of like plan and project. Do you think that some people like try to find as many things as they can just to like maybe forget about death and the ineluctable end of like something?
the emptiness of their lives.
Yeah, would you say you're more relaxed towards that, and that's why you're just taking life as it comes without filling your time as much as you can? Like, some people have a sort of race with time, it feels like.
I don't think I thought about it like that. Maybe. I don't feel like I have acres of free time. Having joined the choir now, that will be Sunday mornings. But I like the idea of not just doing things for the sake of it. Certainly the virus, it's cliched, but the virus has made me value just spending time with groups of people, talking more. That's something I'm really looking forward to, just being able to meet up with as many friends as I want to, wherever I want to, and not necessarily having to walk out in the rain. Although, having said that, there is something good. It wakes you up being out in the rain. It's memorable. Yeah.
You're taking a shower at the same time.
Yeah.
How great.
Multitasking.
Speaking about the virus, what do you think it taught us, maybe as a society in general, or maybe what did it teach you? You were talking about more valuing social contact.
Yeah.
Do you think it was the same for other people? Like, do you think some people started to value more this thing, or what do you think is the outcome of all that?
Yeah. I hope so. I hope it's taught people to value human contact and live events. Things like live music. That appeals to me, and theatre. Things which before I wouldn't have gone to that often, and maybe I won't in the future. But right now, they really appeal to me. But I don't know about society as a whole. I think you could probably argue it the other way and say that it's shown us that we can get by without seeing lots of people can work from home, and you can do lots of things over Zoom. So, I don't know. It's too soon to say, is the historian's answer.
That's true. Well, thank you very much, Harry, for having accepted this interview.
Well, thank you for having me.